Holy Jesus, guys. Thank you so much, Alexander G. Thank you for that. I did not. Oh my goodness. All right. So I've been talking. Do we have audio now? You appreciate that. I just looked at around and I see all of the alerts. Thank you so much, Alexander G. Really appreciate it. I'm so ashamed that you had to waste $4.99 just to let me know that I'm muted. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right, can you guys hear me? Is audio all right? All right, perfect. Thank you for that. All right, so let's see what else we have in here. Let's go back and let me re-explain this a little bit. Sorry, I just get sometimes too concentrated in here. All right, so we have a wedge going downwards, right? This is, oh, our live stream, of course, is not working. This is the video, all right, where we were yesterday. Thank you so much, Alexander. Really appreciate it. So also I see a couple of you guys in here. Let me shout you out, guys, in here. I mean, I've just been talking like crazy without saying much. We have 2Top in the house. Welcome. Also, we have Matty P, no sound. Thank you for that. Mark Dodge, what's up? Too much tequila. I know, bro. Harp, what is up, brother? Ada AIDS, welcome, my friend. AJR, what's up? So who else we got in here? We have Erica, what's up? Mark Dutch, what's up? And do we have anyone else in here? I think that's it. That's all of us. So for all said, what's up, brother? Welcome, my friend. And all right, can I call it out? Hey, Mike Volner, what's up? Welcome. Who else is in the chat? B Team Crypto, great to have you around. Welcome. All right, so I think that cover everybody. Oh no, Fatting, Trady 5, lol, it happens. Yeah, man. Thank you so much for that understanding. And all set. What's up? Did I shout you out? Hey, Jesse Gluck, I did not shout you out. Holy bolts. Absolutely. Welcome, my friend. Welcome. All right. So let's get started in where we left out. All right. So what we have in here, we have our analysis from yesterday, right? It was a wedge, a falling wedge. All right. Usually those falling wedge are reversals, but when we are at the top and we're pointing back down to this kind of falling wedges, we usually break to the upside, right? But again, we were below our zero line. Since we started right up here, all right, on our oscillator, most of the volume was to the downside, so we can start predicting that the breakout was to the downside, right? So how could we be maybe predicting that? Well, we have support, resistances, and also we have one of our favorite indicators, FIVP, all right? So what else do we have in here? Well, some support, so breakout, right? Going to the support, retest, off we go, and then that's exactly where we mark our next area of big support in here. Also take into consideration that we have a positive target, a target to the upside, so we have that volume pressure pushing upwards to the upside, right? Not volume, but the Fibonacci channels there, all right? What happened as we went to bed? Well, we broke down. Look at that, almost exactly as expected. Let me just get this out of the way. There we go. Just almost exactly as we're expecting. Look at that breakout to the support, bounce to the trend line, right? Breakout to the support a little bit farther down, bounce to the trend line, and that is because we were planning to have that breakout retest in here, right? So it was just a couple of candles after, maybe an hour and a half of where we were expecting it to happen. All right, and well, off we go to the big support. Our alert was right there, very close to it. In fact, we were just 3 cents away from our alert to play it out. So what do we do in that case? I'm gonna start moving my alert a little bit higher. All right, in that case, I will be hitting that alert and being able to enter on my trade. So this is one of the things that will happen in real life, all right? So I could have said, you know what? Well, then, yeah, we entered kind of close, all right? Well, not really. We need to be honest here with ourselves, and I need to be also true to myself and to my trading strategy. Not only because that also builds a new opportunity to teach something new, but because this happens on real life, right? I mean, there is just unavoidable losses, right? Sometimes you're just not going to be able to enter in the trade. Sometimes you're going to get left behind. Sometimes you're going to get a stop loss, right? Sometimes you're going to cut it short. Sometimes you're going to let it run too long and then it's going to retrace on you, right? So things happen. So we need to engage them, right? Appreciate things in trading and know how to react to those things. All right, so when I looked at my chart, what happened? I lost my opportunity. Why? Because my alert was not hit. So no sound again. No sound again. I do see sound here. Oh, I see. Let me see. I don't know what's going on. I do have sound in this area, but I think we should have sound. Let me check it out. All right, we do. I guess we do. Guys, can you confirm that we do have sound? Man, you're playing with my brain, Mark Dodge. I don't know what's going on. All right, guys, please confirm if we have sound. Sound is good. Perfect. Thank you so much, Alexander G. Brother, you're melting my brain down, bro. All right, so half an hour going quiet, going like a Mimo, and now you're telling me that I have no sound. You're gonna give me a heart attack, a stroke, a brain stroke. All right, let's get it then now. All right, game is over. Let's take a look at what happened here. So this is real live scenario. What happened? It's loud. Sound, it's loud. Too loud. Too loud. All right, is this better? Man, all right, I'm just gonna lower a little bit. I'm just gonna make sure that I'm not clipping. Testing, testing, testing. All right, I think that's it. And I think we're gonna run it. Man, turn down your volume, bro. Oh man, I can, dude, I do many things at the same time. All right. Oh my goodness. Let me know if now sounds better. Man. All right. Sounds is fine. All right. Thank you for that, Alexandra. Yeah, I'm getting too much into the sound thing. It's just a traumatic experience today. All right. So what happens in here? I realized that I lost my entry. Right. I lost my entry right there. Let's bring up chunky candles in here. And my entry was at flip of the zero line when bouncing off a next support above the zero line. So when do I know that I'm above the zero line? Bouncing off a support, candle close, entry, right? So what happened here? It is that I lost it. When did I realize that I have lost it? Well, then I realized right there. What happened? I still was off place, so my next possible entry could have been right here. All right, I was expecting a little bit farther move to a downside, so I still lost it again. All right, and what happens here, I close a candle back into the pattern. Guys, man, I'm just reading Mark Dodge typing now. I'm getting like a stroke right now. All right, help me out here, guys. What happens when we have a fake out or a breakout, right? And then we start closing back inside those patterns, right? Let me see. So let me rephrase your memory. If we have a range, right? If we have a range like this and we have price action like that, and then we have a fake out, right? And then we close back inside, right? What happens there? Usually we have a huge opportunity or a huge chance to hit the bottom or the other side. All right. Thank you for that, Mark Dodge. Really appreciate it, bro. Man, that was traumatic. All right. So what's happening on this? I mean, even on a triangular pattern, all right? Let's go for maybe a flat top triangle like that. All right. What happens if we start losing the boundaries? Like we do something like that, we fake out, we close back inside, we hit the other side, right? Or the chances of hitting the other side it's it's huge, right? It doesn't matter if it's a range or if it's a triangle. And I'm using a triangular pattern now because exactly this happened, but the opposite, right? So basically we went fake out or breakout and then jump back in, and then shortly after we were going to hit the top. All right, so what happens in here? We close right here. We close. Oh, come on. Here it is. All right, we close in this candle back inside the pattern. All right, right here. Here it is. Close inside the pattern. What do I need to do? Well, I need to enter for that. The only thing I'm looking for, it is maybe a brighter area here. And if you look at my RSI, this is what I was also looking for. Look at that. We have a couple of red candles. I waited for the green candle. All right, candle green close, and the next candle my entry. So it's slightly, there it is. That should be right there. All right, slightly offset. Perfect. That was my entry. If you look at our oscillator, what was I waiting for? Break to the zero line, goose head, confirmation of going up of that goose head after the red closes in the green. That's my entry. Candle close, entering right there. All right. What happened with that? Just so you know, since my stop loss was very, very much below. Let's take a look at where at. My stop loss needs to be below the previous meaningful low, which could have been this one, but it was not. I mean, guys, I already have gone through this and I was just not feeling lucky at all. So what I went to, the most meaningful low all the way down here. So as you can see, my stop loss was to that low, and then added a little bit of a wiggle room. Not that much of a wiggle room. Why? Because this is already a very far away long, right? My TP number one was in here as we lost our previous high. So, but that was a 0.66%. What do I do in this case? I changed my entry position. All right. I'm not doing one full position. I'm going half of a position. All right. This is one of my rules bending. All right. I know I always tell you guys follow your rules, but if you're okay with that at this point, remember, we're only half of an entry. And then if for some reason I bounce back down, my next entry was going to be here, basically averaging down my position. Oh, come on, get out of the way. When I cannot hit it. Here it is. Averaging down my entry right here. All right. But that did not happen. So since this didn't happen, and then I break out, retest, off I go. Instead of taking this trade, I just put my stop to entry. That's it. And let it run. All right. Where did I took my entry? Because I already have taken, sorry, my profits. I already have taken them. All right. I took my profits right at this high. Next meaningful high, the one that is marking, look at that, the beginning of the range and the end of the range. You see that? So I'm just using this to define where was the range, and I'm taking it as a strong support and resistance. So right here, I took it. What happened? Went down, and I was like, I knew it, right? But then it went back up, and I was, oh, come on, I could have profit just that slightly bit more, right? But that's fine. We did some profits, and we did a fairly big chunk of it. So somewhere around at 10x, just so you know, somewhere around 91%. To be honest, was a little bit less of this. I don't know why. It's always a little bit less. I think it has to do with the fees that they charge you. So it was somewhere around 89.5-ish, something around those areas, right? Hey, do we have Alex of Crypto in the house? Welcome, my friend. Alex, oh, I took a bad trade today and make 600. There you go, brother. Nice. He longed the top and he still make a profit on it. That's what is called a good risk management, because OC is my good luck charm. Oh man, I really appreciate it, brother. Thank you so much. By the way, thank you so much for stopping by, my friend. Really appreciate it. And today I went like 30 minutes, well, not 30 minutes, maybe 5 minutes on mute, bro, on mute. Thanks to Alexandra G. She's just a queen. She just went completely out, and she said she put some $4 super chats for me to call my attention and then unmuted. Thank you very, very, very much for that. But yeah, I also fucked up today. So let's go, Alexandra. Thank you so much once again. All right, so what's up now? Are we gonna keep following the trend? Yes and no. All right, let's do exactly the same thing that we did in here. All right, it's time for me to clean this up. All right, let's just get rid of everything. Perfect. So at this point, what we got? Let's recap everything, right? Let's get started with what we always start, zooming out. All right, we zoom out to find what? We zoom out to find the structure of the market. All right, let's go out of here. Let's also get rid of my indicators. Right, and what do we have? We have a huge, ginormous, what seems to be a range, right? Or better yet, a beautiful, there we go, possible huge wedge. All right, or bullish flag. I would say that this is too big to consider it a bullish flag. By the way, this is dangerous. We need to see why in a second. But all right, we have the microstructure. For now, let me just get rid of these ones. All right, so just for now. Perfect, and that will be it. Now that we have already kind of looked at what we're looking for, right, or the structure of the market, now let's start drawing our trend lines, right? Trend line here, perfect. Trend line there, perfect, right? And let's prolong this one because we haven't had a perfect retrace from it. All right, this seems to be very close. Look at that, as the previous. Oh, come on. Double top. You see that? So A, B, B, and C. All right, you see that morphology? All right, so this is something that repeats. All right, so what could we be maybe expecting? Is this a good zone to start taking a short? Could be. All right, could be. How can we say? Well, then it's not about the breakout, it's about the retest. All right, so what do? Short position in here. Remember that we could be wrong. All right, previous high, your wiggle room. And we're going to be aiming TP number 1 at meaningful lows. Is it above 1? Yes, it is. All right. So far, this is it. Do I have 1, 2 resistances? Yes, I do. Something important that we could be making, it is a bullish pennant. Just like we were looking in here for a bullish pennant. All right. Remember that the goal in this bullish pennant, it is not being a pennant. It is on the boundaries because we know when we're losing the trend. All right, if we start losing the trend, well, then we hold it and then off we go to the next low. So far, guys, let's watch for this price action in here to have another retracement and a possible entry. All right, it's not a call, it's not an entry call right now. All right, not so far. Let's see, let's add more indicators. Remember, at least I need 3 indicators. All right, let's go and check it out on my oscillator. Do I have a reversal? I do. Am I on reversal threshold zones? Not quite there yet. All right, so maybe it can go farther up and then look at that, maybe it takes me out and then reverses. All right, that's why we're giving it some time. We're giving it this candle in time, right, just to see how this oscillator is going to be playing out. Perfect. We already have that perspective. Let's go to the next one, to the other side. All right, am I on reversal zones? Yes, I am. Not quite fully there. And look at that. Before we had a fall below, right, and then a bouncing here. A fall below, and then a bouncing here. So what do I need to find in here? I need to find maybe some change of color or a tiny, look at that, it never fails, a tiny itty bitty right there candle. You see that one right there? right? The same thing I need to find in here. Maybe a change of color or a tiny itty bitty candle. All right. So far, I'm still waiting. Almost there, right? But we don't have an entry so far. What else do I need to have in here? Remember, if we jumped in as we broke above, hey, we have NJ in the house. Hey, what is up, NJ? Welcome. Great to have you. And I don't see you. Where are you? You're not at home? Are you still at work? Let me know. All right. So what we need to see here, it is a reversal. Instead to the upside, we need to see that reversal to the downside. All right. And we need to see those change of color for a prolonged period of time. All right. Something like that. Give me just 1 second, please. And all right. Perfect. I think I got it. All right. So this is what we need to have for a bearish confirmation. If not, we're not taking the short. All right. Again, we're not taking the short if we don't have that bearish confirmation. What's then? What's up then? Well then, if we instead break through, make a higher high, now we want to have a higher low. All right. And then when we do this, right? When we do this right here, right? There we go, right? When we do that, those reversals, that's gonna be our next entry for a long. All right, let's go and see what else we have. Too many in oscillators, right? I think it's time for the price action indicators. So where are our support and resistances? All right, are we in a support or are we in a resistance? Let me just clear this up. Yes, we are running into a resistance. Hey OC, but this is highly bullish. Yeah, I know, but still a resistance. It is still a 25% resistance, all right? So do expect some volatility and then rejection, maybe 2 candle volatility or something like that, right? And then if we are able to overcome that resistance, well then where is our next resistance? All the way up here to the trend line or to the actual flat resistance. I usually like to aim for the first one and then set my stop loss slightly above beyond the second resistance. All right, so maybe something like that. All right, so let's leave it as is at this point. Let's go and check out something else. Big support and resistance as well, all the way up here. Nothing immediately as a thread. All right, we're breaking through. There we go. So that's why we did not take that short. Perfect. What else do we have? Do we have predictive ranges? Yeah. Where is our next predictive range? It is right here, the blue line. Perfect. Look at that. It's aligning with the other support and resistances. Where is my smart money entry? Well, that is a little bit ambiguous at this point. We have 0 right here. So basically, our smart money entry could have been here, which indicates maybe we can have that breakout retest. Remember, our entry for a long, shoot out and then retrace. All right, we need to be aware of that also, because everything else I would say that we're just getting out of the ranging zone or the retail money area. All right, so again, we are just waiting. We just took some profit. We're waiting to see a clean path to take the next trade. All right, what else do I have? Let's bring up support, order blocks. All right, order blocks at the top, not much. Order blocks at the bottom, yes, we're bouncing from them. Perfect. All right, we need to put a higher high. All right, and then our next higher low, right? Higher high, and then our next higher low is going to be our next entry. All right, let's see what else we have. A channel. Look at that beautiful and precise channel. Another thing that we can do in here, it is measure our channel bottom, and look at that, the same overall area. All right, and then top, and then our channel bottom. There we go. So when we retrace at the same ballpark. All right, so once again, we're confirming the confluence or the confluence, however you want to say it. For our Gauss regression, I think we already nailed it. with this previous one. Yes, we have a red one. I don't think it's gonna be playing out nearly as good because we already have broken the tangent. It's not about the breakout, it's about the retest, and off we go. All right, so you already have played out. We need to wait for the next calculation of the Gauss trend line. Let's see what else could we be adding here. All right, order blocks and our Fib. There we go. Our Fibonacci channels, it is telling us still to the upside. Where is our target? Our target, it is in here. So again, it's a little bit concerning because we're seeing a lot of resistances, high resistant right here. So what could we maybe do? Extend a little bit our stop loss, and then maybe divide half of an entry here and half of an entry there. I think this is going to be my my next possible trade, dividing it, just because of how powerful these Fib channels are. All right, so they've been nailing trades as we found yesterday and today. All right, so let's take a look at what else. All right, let's go over a couple of other things. So do we have Fibonacci trend? Yeah, we already are not yet breaking it, so we need to wait for that breakout. Liquidity hunter, let's just go for liquidations before we move out of bunk. I want to go over Fartcoin also. There we go. So what's going to be easier to get? Where are the liquidations easier to get? Right here, then right here, right? So the most concentration is somewhere around here. All right, so yeah, I'm telling you, like the buffering zone is a little thick, right? So that's why I'm dividing my entry into. All right, perfect. Guys, I want to take some suggestions. Let me know what assets do you want me to take a look at. In the meantime, I'm going to be doing Dogecoin and Fartcoin, right? But I want you guys to suggest me something. All right, let's go to Fartcoin. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, another very easy trade. So again, look at that, how beautiful those trend lines are. Yeah, the breakout retest was not perfect, but what is perfect in this life? But still, look at that. Breakout retest. All right, closing inside the pattern maybe. Wait for the next breakout retest, meaningful retest. There we go. Your possible entry. We are missing our oscillator. When did we broke above the oscillator? This is your confirmation or your next entry. Look at that. So either first entry, right, or your second chance. Clear as day. All right, beautiful, perfect. What happened here? Maybe took you out, maybe not. Maybe if you did not enter with a perfect position, let's say that you enter here, then you went all the way up here, move your stop to entry, took you out. Damn market, right? Come on. Well, this happens, guys. We need to learn how to complain about this, of course, because that's what I do. I just don't hold it inside. I do come out and scream at it, but still do not let it carve to inside of you. All right, so just a quick advice, a friendly advice. So if that took you out, well then perfect. If not, that could be your next re-entry. Perfect. And then you should be on profits. But let's not finish that, because remember, at this point we already have forgotten about to do something important, right? And I want to show you how the hit of the moment gets you or takes out the importance of the one-on-one learning. Remember, first entry, secondary entry, that's it. We have what? 1, 2 pivots, and then the third pivot, right? So what can we do here? First and second pivot, all right? Support, fake out, re-entry, all right? We have a third pivot, we readjust, and that's it. We already have our trend line. Let's prolong that, all right? Look at that. At this point, we're changing out of color. We are losing the zero line in here. Let's take a look at some other oscillators. Oh, we're losing the 50% line, and well, then we're turning red. Let's see if what we have in here. Oh, we have our next pivot. We have not yet lost the trend line. All right, we have not yet lost the trend line. We can do the buffering strategy, right? Where we take these lows, most of the lows, right? Ignoring the fake outs, right? And then cloning the line, pushing it downwards to have our entry channel or our last stance channel. talking about last stance, this is a great opportunity to start looking both our FIVP and also our, where is it, Gauss trend crossing. Let's take a look at our Gauss trend crossing, all right? And we have our beautiful parabola, and we have our tangent trend line. Have we lost that trend? Seems like it. It's not about the breakout, it's about the retest. Off we go. We need to take this low. We need to put on a lower low, or at least the same low, and then put a either the same or lower high. This is going to be your entry. All right. So that's going to be your entry for a short. So are we bullish or bearish? It is inconclusive just now because we're not yet fully breaking through. Look at what happened here. All right. So could this be your long position entry? It is too late already. So what do we need to do? We need to wait. So what are we going to be waiting for? Remember, whatever the structure wants to do. We just have two options. We either go up or down. All right. So, well, three, we also can go sideways. So let's analyze for the worst case scenario, which is going to be maybe going downwards. All right. We already have what seems to be a rounded top. Still, I don't know if I want to call this a lower high, because we can still put on a higher high, and then this would be just interference like in here. All right. So there we go. We're getting back at it. Perfect. We're going to be looking for retest. It's not about the breakout. It's about your retest. This is going to be our first possible short. If we are below the zero line, that's going to be our short. If not, we want to put a higher low on the trend line. This is going to be our next long. All right. So let's just mark them because there's too many lines in here. Let's go for our first possible scenario, which is going to be a short somewhere around here. Stop loss at previous meaningful highs. And then there we go. Aiming for this for our first TP. And finally going to a meaningful low to the next TP. Can we corroborate that? Look at that. Yep, I can maybe adjust this to my previous. Look at that. Beautiful targets. All right. And then, oh, this is my, look at this red line coming off a huge disparity zone. Big resistance. All right. So Retro Mike in the house. Welcome, my friend. All said, welcome, bro. Welcome. Who else we have in here? I think that will be it. So what we have, oh, laser go pew pew. Hey, welcome, my friend. Welcome. All right. So this is going to be our first possible entry for a short. And then at the same time, all right, whatever happens the first, long position, somewhere around breakout retest, somewhere around here. But we need a little bit more action here, more price action, all right? Let me show it. Let's talk about it again. We need to bounce from this area, reject out of this area, and then find our next support above or crossing through our zero line to take the long, right? If this doesn't happen, the long is not taken, all right? So far it seems like indecision, like we went up, now back again down. So we need to be patient. We need to wait for our targets to be hit, all right? So there's one more variant here, which is right now breaking through, all right? If we never go up and we just break down here, well then, where is our next meaningful low? Somewhere around here. Look at that. What do we have here? Can we corroborate that? Yes, there is a loud order block. What is a loud order block? Your entry for a long is not about your breakout. It's about your retest. So you long this and then you short this. All right. So we're doing exactly the same, but lower. You see that? All right. Same, but lower. So regardless what happened, you already have all of the possibilities charted out, or most of the possibilities charted out. All right. So I think Fartcoin is going to be an interesting one. Let's add our alerts. Let's add one here. Let's add another one here. And let's add another one in here. Remember, at this point, I'm being a little bit more generous with shorter on the areas that I think it's going to be hitting. So basically, if I think it's going to be hitting the top, I'm going to be moving it slightly below. Why? Because of what happened with bonk, right? So let's go and take a look at something else. Guys, did you suggest me anything? Let me know, please. Share it right now. Posted RMT. Perfect. Oh no, that's retro mic tech. All right. Let's see. It's not about the breakout, it's about the retest. Absolutely, my friend. All right, no proposals so far. Guys, what are you guys looking in the crypto space? Let me know. Let's go for something else. Let's go for TAO and then for maybe Kava. All right. TAO looking like we're making a symmetrical triangle. All right. Perfect. Another chance to learn. Is this maybe a pennant? Ooh, maybe morphology of the triangle, right? Morphology of the patterns. I would say that this is not. Why? Usually when I'm looking for a pennant, I want this this side to be as twice, at least as twice, or at least 1/2, right? Let's just call it 1/2, but better as twice as high for a half, that kind of like a pennant. All right, in this case it is not even 1 full, right? It is shorter than 1 full. So I'm gonna be trading this as a what? Is this a wedge? 1, if this is a wedge. 2, if this is a symmetrical triangle. Let me know in the chat. All right, we have a delay of around 20 seconds. So let's see. I know you guys know this. If not, just give it a try. 1 or 2. All right. In this case, it is because it's breaking out now. We need to move faster. All right, this is a symmetrical triangle. All right. This is a symmetrical triangle. I just adjusted the top range to compensate for that. Oh, perfect. Breakout. Where are we? We are at the top of the 0 line. Perfect. Where is our entry? You can enter on the breakout, all right? But remember, it's not about the breakout. It's about the retest. Let's wait for this candle to be closed. Why? Because this could also be a fake out and then close back inside. And then what we're going to be aiming to the bottom side of this triangle. But so far, the triangle, it is breaking out, right? What if it does something like that? Perfect. That will be a very nice entry. So we want to wait for the breakout retest. Off we go. Remember that this retest could be within the next candle. We need to be quick about it. So what am I going to be doing? Oh man, I need to be watching this one, especially because we're on the 15 minutes. Let's just lock this one, right click again, and add an alert. Perfect, crossing alert. All right, let's go for the next one here. Let's go to Kava. Oh, TAO, I'm telling you, this is just not good because it's just gonna be pushing all over the place. All right, whatever. Let's take a look at Kava here. Kava, it's not looking good. I don't like this pattern. Why? Because this is one of the reversal patterns. This is a wedge aiming to the upside. All right, this is a wedge aiming to the upside coming from an up-ranging trend. This for me, it is a reversal pattern. We already have something like a double top. We have a meaningful low. We have almost a meaningful high, lower high, right? And look at that, we already have lost the 0 line. We're fighting here on this 0 line also, and it's not about the breakout, it's about the retest. You enter for the short, and off we go. We can still recuperate this by going up in here, right, and ringing this bell. If we ring this bell, I think this is gonna be overtaken, and we can overlook and look for the next pattern, maybe continuation to the upside. If we hit the top, I think in that case we are going to be breaking out and continuing. All right, but so far this is not looking good as we stand. This is another one that you need to keep your eyes on it. So new earth, hey, new earth, what's up, bro? What's going on? Not much, just making money. What about you, bro? Welcome, by the way. All right, so let's see what else we have in here. Let's go with hashtag ETH. All right, hashtag FETH. So Ethereum finally, for the grace of God, it did something. All right, it moved. All right, it moved. At least it moved. All right, so where did it move? Well, as you can see, we have a resistance. It's not about the breakout. Man, it's just taking so long, man, for it to make that retest. It seems like we're gonna be having that retest, but we still need to wait for our oscillator to play it out. So we are still waiting. What else do we have? Well, then we are also between other two resistances. So we are on the median of a possible range. All right. The next thing is that we already have a possible trend line. I'm not going to be looking at this trend line right now because we are too far away. If we start losing the green support, well, then maybe I'll start looking at this trend line so far. So Ethereum, once again, it never disappoints. And let's wrap it up with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is just being a dream. So Bitcoin doing stuff, moving, making us money here. Oh, come on. Bitcoin, don't run away. All right, so what we got, let me just get rid of everything here. Right, let's turn off everything, and of course, as always, let's zoom out. These lines were not drawn today. They were drawn yesterday. Look at that. Precisely, Watson. Right there on spot. What are we looking for here? Either a pennant for a bullish continuation or a retest. I think this is good. This could be a great opportunity to look at the 15 minutes. All right. So what do we have in here? Let me just get rid of this, or let's just move it aside. All right. So I don't want to lose the proof that this is what we were speculating. All right. And let's start charting this. What do I have? I have, of course, a trend line. All right. Ooh, have I lost it? Maybe, or am I just riding onto that trend line? It's unknown so far. I mean, I can of course do this and this, but it doesn't really fit. All right. So I would say that this trend line has not been broken just yet. What seems to be is that we are forming a triangle like that, or there we go, a broadening wedge to the downside. All right. We need to be careful with this one, because we might have, or we could still have, because we already have it, right? This kind of movement. All right. Let's start predicting, or let's start looking into where could it be breaking through, right? Let's bring up our oscillator. Since it started, where is it loaded to, right? Since it started, where is it loaded to? Let's measure it. So to the upside, right? To the downside, to the upside, to the downside, and it seems to be pretty much equal, right? Let's see, to the upside. So let's just pack them all together. Oh, maybe it's gonna be winning. Yeah, absolutely, it's gonna be winning to the upside. There we go. So far we have the chances to break to the upside. All right, if we have the chances to break to the upside, the worst case or the best case scenario will be going back downwards to take the median. All right, that will let us set into a better position into the median, and then breakout. Oh, come on. Retest. Off we go, right? What would the worst case scenario be at this point? Maybe this moving upwards without giving us a chance, right? So let's bring up here our support and resistances. Let's see what else we have in here. We are on a resistance. All right, maybe we could have the chance. There is an order block, all right, which could be, look at that, leading the way for that retracement. Hopefully this is what's going on, so we have a better entry here, right? What else do we have in here? VPVR right there, still very nice. And I would say that that's it. I mean, we just need to wait at this point. All right, we need to wait. All right, guys, so it's almost time. Thank you so much for joining. Today we went through a couple of those assets. Guys, you have the setups. Go do and take a look at a couple of indicators. Also take a look at a couple of assets. Do what you like in the assets world. Try to trade what you know. Guys, choose your battles. All right. So for example, I don't know, let's go to TRX, and let's do something I never do, like the 3 minutes. All right. Well, 3 minutes is not looking that bad actually, but let's just say, all right. Do I have troubles reading this? Not really, because this looks like a rounded parabolic downwards, right? I'm below, so everything is just bouncing up for continuation downwards, all right? That will be it. But let's just say though, hey, I don't really get it, right? My brain, it doesn't wrap around this picture, right? Let it go. Let it go. Go to something else. Let's go to Bitcoin, right? Let's go to Ethereum. Let's go to Turbo. Let's go to Kava, right? Turbo. All right, Turbo. Oh, we maybe can grab some of those sparks. We can take a look at a couple of other support and resistances, right? For better entry, positioning, flip of the ribbon, add support, and off we go, right? So when you start seeing something that does make sense, well, then there you go, my friend, right? Trade that. Choose your battles, right? You're not going to be like a magician, just make moving the market yourself, right? You need to rely on your knowledge to get on with the movement. Other than that, guys, thank you so much. KDGT, what's up, my friend? Welcome. Oh, we have also Melissa in the house. Welcome, Melissa. And once again, Alexander G, really appreciate it. My heart is with you. Thank you so much for that help at the beginning of the show. You really saved my butt this time. Thank you so much. And MJ, I'm waiting for you, honey. Where are you? Let's see, what are we gonna be going out for dinner? Yesterday we went out for dinner, by the way, and the food, let's just say that it did not sit well with me. But other than that, it was a good food. It was a good night dinner. Other than that, guys, thank you so much for joining. And as always, see you guys tomorrow.